Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. So, today I want to talk about a very simple concept. And this is my go to method essentially. Anytime I start a new project, whether it's composing or arranging or whatever it is. And the whole idea is that to me, it's way easier to fix something that isn't quite working or isn't quite like 100% there than creating something new. So I basically go with first ideas. I try to stick with my very first idea and then kind of develop it or fix it to kind of stretch it over a longer period of time. And that can depend on a variety of factors, whether it's the notes that the clients give you, if they have some specific requirements, or if you're doing something to picture, hitting specific moments and things of that sort. But if we're doing something a little bit more generic, like what I'm going to be trying to demonstrate today, you can quite simply get the ball rolling fast. And then as you get an idea of what it is that you're trying to express, it's going to become clearer what it is that you want to communicate with the music. But enough talking. What do I mean? So I kind of made a note for myself earlier today. I made a voice memo, and this would often be my initial starting place. That's it, really. So that's all I know about this piece right now. It's not much to start with, but at least we've got something to begin with. So what I would probably do at this stage is kind of pick a key, first of all. Yeah, we're going to do it in C minor because simply because I'm comfortable with C minor. That can vary, of course, depending on the context of the project. What I'm going to do now is try and figure out what it is that I sang. And maybe change to a different chord over here. So you see that I'm already coming up with different ideas that I didn't necessarily have when I was, singing the simple little melody into my phone earlier today. Let's record that maybe. Very simple sketch with just melody and chords, yeah? And then I'm going to record the chords like so. That's it. This is all we've got. Where can we take it from here? My instinct would probably be to repeat it, right? Because this doesn't seem complete in itself, right? And a very simple way to create a little bit of development would be modifying the shape of the melody a little bit, so maybe the second time through we can make it go up, right? And maybe just change the chords slightly. Once again, I'm gonna stick to my first ideas only. There's probably something cooler in there, but the most important part is really to kind of get the ball rolling, yeah? And get inspired as you go. Okay, so this is essentially our A section, right? We're far from done, but I would probably take a listen. Okay, I just had an idea. I don't particularly like this second chord. It seems a little bit predictable, yeah? So I might try something different. I might try a different chord, something that is not diatonic, maybe like an E major, because, A flat is also G sharp, being the third of G, E major, right? So we can make a sound a little bit brighter, a little bit more interesting this way. So let's try that. I like that a lot, yeah. Right, so what can we do now? Since we have these long held notes over these two bars, what I'm gonna end up doing eventually with the orchestration or whatever, when we're actually doing the arrangement for this song, is just kind of do something in between the two phrases, right? Just maybe some answer phrases or some stubs or something of that sort. So what I will do before repeating this melody, because this has to repeat, is maybe some some more of that, some more of that kind of vibe. And I'm thinking about maybe just repeating the chords a couple of times. We could do something like this, maybe. Cool. So we had a bit of a register shift, right? So we kind of went low with the melody up there first originally. Probably string, something of that sort. I don't know yet, but I'm kind of already thinking about the orchestration a little bit, because I find that it helps, just visualizing what the overall shape of the piece could be eventually. So since we're moving the register down, maybe it would be interesting to do the melody down the octave second time through, right? So we're gonna repeat this. Actually, what we could do is just copy paste, right? Oh yeah, that's a cool idea. Just by accident, I kind of hit a couple of low notes, and I think it would be quite nice here since we're moving everything down. So we could do that. Maybe like a pedal tone. Yeah, I play that a little bit not so well. Maybe second time through we could kind of do a bass line. Yeah, that could be cool. Maybe, I don't know. Once again, we're filling the gaps, right, in between the two phrases, like in a similar fashion to what we did over here. So let's try something for the second A. Ah, that's cool. Something kind of Spanish. I don't know. We could try that. Maybe it would be nice to go back a little bit and just see if we can do something about the beginning, which was quite basic compared to what we've got over here already. What I think we could do over here, just to make it a little bit less basic, we can get rid of the top notes. We don't need them, actually. And we can just maybe build an ostinato on top. I think it's nice to have the pedal tone, maybe, but we definitely need to have a little bit of movement on top of it, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and re-record the pedal tone, right? We could do something simple that follows the shape of the melodies, maybe on like violas. This could repeat, but obviously we've got a different chord at the end, right? Oh, that's a cool effect with a low C, right? I think I'm gonna keep that, and maybe just so that it doesn't feel so bare bones, it would be nice to have something in a lower register to kind of fill in. So that would work. That could potentially be maybe trombones or cellos. Or I think now that I'm listening to it, second time through, since it's a very simple idea and it's a very simple melody, here on bar 21, basically on the fourth time we're repeating the melody, it would be nice to introduce something new, like a simple little change to spice things up a bit. We have a bit of counterpoint. I mean, if we can consider it, so we're not doing Bach or something, right? But we have these kind of moving parts, right? So I'm thinking we could add a third part, maybe something on top, because we've got the bass line already doing its thing, we've got the melody, and we could do something higher. Once again, I'm gonna try something, go with first ideas only, and if we need to tweak it, we can do it later on. And let's do another one, yeah, on the second bar. That's cool. Yeah, I like that a lot. So you see that it's starting to take shape. It's by no means perfect. There's still a lot of work to do, but at least now we kind of know where the piece is going. You see what I mean? Try and flesh it out and fix, the errors or the things that I don't particularly like about it later on, once I get a clearer picture of what it is that, we're doing with this piece of music. If I feel like I'm getting stuck a little bit and I don't quite know where to take it from here, I would take a short break. As I was taking a little bit of time away from the piece of music, I had an idea for a B section. So I'm just gonna go ahead and record it straight away. I think it's fine for now. Once again, let's stick to it, trust the process. And then what are we gonna do with the beat? Actually, let me record the chords first. That's not my greatest melody, but it would do for now. Or we could do like, that could be nice. Yeah, that could be really nice. But last chord is going to be different. What I'm thinking now, since we use this sus kind of thing, that could be nice. So basically trading on the same idea. And then we can just end it. We could just end it with some similar content to what we had over here, right? The middle section, essentially. I have an idea. That one, we're gonna delete that. Let's go with... And then just, since we're going lower and lower, that's it. So that's basically it, really. We could continue if we wanted, but I think you get my point. We kind of need to work on a little bit of the transitions, right? Because we left this blank, and obviously, we could go straight into it, but I don't think it would work very nicely. Yeah, it's a bit weird. Yeah, I don't like that particularly. So we're gonna do like a 2 bars kind of thing. We could reuse the same idea that we used at the end. So yeah, we could do like a run going up. Yeah, that's better already. Oh yeah, that section definitely needs to repeat a couple of times. So some things you only catch later on. Yeah, not bad. It's not the greatest thing ever, but considering how long we spent on it, and considering that I wasn't in the mood of composing anything at all today, and I still managed to get something down, I think it's all right. Not every piece of music needs to be like the most amazing thing you've ever written. When it comes to orchestration, to me, is a lot of the same process of fleshing things out first and then revising later on if you find that something doesn't quite work the way you thought it might. But obviously sketching the piece in a similar fashion to what we did before, trying to keep in mind of what the orchestration is going to do eventually helps quite a bit. This was not really the point of the video, but I'm gonna show you the orchestrated piece anyway. And if you want to see me suffer trying to orchestrate this, pulling my hair out, I've got that uncut on Patreon. But something I wanted to point out before we have a listen to the orchestrated version is a couple of changes I ended up making, and that's often going to be the case, right? As you orchestrate, obviously you get inspired by the instruments you're using, and you might change a few things in the harmony or the melody or whatever, really. So here's what I ended up doing with the B section. Eventually I kind of changed the shape of the melody a little bit, and I think it's a lot better. So here's how it sounds like now. So it's not massively different, but there are a couple of tweaks that really make it. This push on beat 2 on the second bar, and this bar over here kind of makes the melody a lot more interesting by default. And what else have I changed? I changed this part. Remember when we used to repeat the A with the low bass kind of thing on hammering on the C? I kind of changed it a bit, and that was informed by the orchestration, really, because I ended up doing some pits on the double basses and cellos, and just to give it a little bit more flow, I ended up with something like this. So I changed the sketch as well. That's it. There are more changes in some of the rhythmic parts that we have for the transitional material, but otherwise the rest should be pretty much the same. So let me show you the orchestrated version. Right. I mean, it's a bit all over the top. This is not usually the kinds of things I do, but I think it sounds fine. One thing I'm still not particularly happy about is this section, really, the way the A transitions into the B, you know, this part. I think the B sounds really nice on its own, but the A doesn't flow well into the B. You know, there's too much of a gap between the two sections, and I really struggle with that. You know, in the behind the scenes in making this video, you can really see of me changing basically the orchestration 3-4 times to kind of try and get to the point where I'm at right now. I kept my percussion stem from before just to show you the difference of what I had before and what I ended up doing eventually. So that was my very first orchestration, and here's the final version. So it's got similarities, but it is quite different, really. Also, like, I ended up changing quite a bit of the brass. You know, I originally had some sustains and ended up with this. And this is just to make it flow more nicely, just to make it more similar to the section that came before. That was basically the stabs. So just for the fun of it, let me just show you how these two sections flow into each other without percussion, which kind of does a lot of the heavy lifting here. So here's just the orchestra without percussion. There are a lot of extra parts here, like the woodwinds doing the arpeggios over the top. Also, here's what we have on strings. So it's very like, I wanted to keep it moving, so with a lot of movement and a lot of extra, you know, kind of counterparts that highlight the harmony. But the rest is remarkably similar to the sketch. You'll see that the orchestrated version has basically the same identity with the very same parts in the same registers. Here's just the orchestra without percussion. The only time where I've taken creative liberties, I mean, I'm allowed, it's my own music, is basically whenever we had some kind of interlocking rhythms, simply because it's a lot more fun to work it out when you orchestrate it, as opposed to kind of doing it on the piano, strictly on the piano. And the orchestrated version sounds like this. I have different chords as well. It's not super different, it's still based on the same idea, the same concept, but there's more to it, you know, because as you go, you find cooler ideas. It's part of the process. That's all I've got to say, really. So once again, I think it's really quite important to get the ball rolling, first of all, you know, stick with your first ideas, stick with your instincts, and then try to fix it later on, because it's much harder to come up with an idea than trying to fix whatever you've got going on already. Or at least that's me. That's all I've got to say. As always, special thanks to my patrons who make all this possible. If you're into the more raw, unedited content, that's where you'll find it, alongside, of course, the session files for this project. That's it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.